My leg goes weak and down I go. Been in and out of the hospital 10 times over 9 months.
When I wake up in the morning, I'm in disbelief because of how out of control my weight's gotten. I've gotten so big now, doing just about everything is difficult.
While my 600-pound life has shown incredible stories of triumph, not every transformation comes with a happy ending. Some journeys are filled with struggle, sacrifice, and heartbreaking twists that left fans in tears. These powerful moments reveal the emotional toll behind the fight for a better life. Today, we're revisiting the most heartbreaking transformations ever seen on my 600-pound life.
Needed to send the ambulance out here.
What's the problem? Tell me exactly what's happening.
I stood up last night. My left knee popped real loud and the pain's unbearable.
This is a very bad day for Joe. He has fallen and he can't get up. The simple act of standing has become so perilous that a misstep results in a call to emergency services. Paramedics have to haul him onto a stretcher because his body has become an immovable prison. The look on his face isn't just pain, it is pure despair. He calls his life a nightmare, and honestly, that feels like an understatement. He's only 31, but he's living in a state of constant fear and humiliation. This is the ultimate cry for help.
The relationship between me and my dad was strained.
Joey wanted to be close to his dad.
Where did this all begin? It traces back to dear old dad. Now, get this. Instead of parenting, his father's brilliant solution to dealing with his son was to just buy him things. Video games and fast food became the stand-ins for actual attention and love. What a guy. Joe basically admits he would have traded every single possession for a sliver of his dad's time. The food wasn't just food, it was a replacement for a relationship. It became the comfort, the friend, and the emotional anesthetic for a wound that was never allowed to heal.
Tell me about your eating habit. How many times you eat in 24 hours?
Actual meals twice a day, but I'm snacking all day.
Let's talk about the enablers, because every good tragedy needs a supporting cast. Who buys the food that's keeping an 800-pound man trapped in his own body? His sister and his mom. And why do they do it? Joe says it himself. They bring him whatever he wants because they're terrified of making him upset. This isn't love, it's a hostage situation where the weapon is guilt. They are so deep in the web of codependence that they can no longer distinguish between helping him and hurting him. Every meal they deliver is another link in the chain holding him down, and they just don't see it.
He has to eat around 10,000 calories a day to maintain his weight and gain like he has.
Dr. Nauzaradan, who is here to cut through all the nonsense, takes one look at Joe's staggering 800-pound frame and immediately calls him out. He shuts down the flimsy excuses and lays out the cold, hard math. To maintain that size, Joe has to be consuming around 10,000 calories a day. The doctor's message is crystal clear. Joe is too high risk for any kind of surgery. He isn't just giving advice, he's dropping an ultimatum. He demands Joe lose an absolutely massive 150 pounds on his own before he'll even consider it. The wake-up call has officially arrived, and it is brutally loud.
I'm mad at myself. Not only did I not lose, but I can't. I'm really scared right now.
You will not believe this. For his first major follow-up after all the talk and the big move to Houston, Joe gets on the scale, and what happens? He gained weight. His excuse? Oh, the stress of moving made him eat fast food. Dr. Now is having none of it and immediately calls him out, saying his story is mathematically not possible. This isn't just a stumble, it's a complete nosedive into failure. And Dr. Now takes the nuclear option. He's so concerned that he's sending Joe directly to the hospital for a full evaluation. The games are over. This is the ultimate realization of just how close to the edge Joe truly is.
So now you figure out what changes you can make to have adequate weight loss.
I've cut out my sugary drinks. I'm drinking water now. So,
Okay.
yeah, I'm feeling great.
Here we are at a critical turning point. Joe has made some serious progress, losing a significant amount of weight, and you can see he's proud. But Dr. Now isn't throwing a party just yet. This is the tough love moment. The doctor acknowledges the success, but immediately reminds him of the goal. You are not at 650 pounds. There are no pats on the back, only the cold, hard number he still has to hit. For many, this would be a moment to give up, to feel like their effort wasn't enough. But for Joe, this is the final test. Can he push through the disappointment and finish the fight?
I have always been large, and it has ballooned into a very serious problem. I was feeling suicidal at some points.
This, everyone, is a genuine breakthrough. After the humiliation of gaining weight and the scare of the hospital, Joe is drowning in depression. But for the first time, he doesn't just retreat into a mountain of food. He admits he needs help and sees a therapist. And what happens? The emotional floodgates open. He finally starts talking about the years of neglect from his father, the pain, the feeling of worthlessness. These aren't manipulative tears we see in so many others. This is pure, raw catharsis. He's realizing that if he wants to fix his body, he has to confront the trauma he's been burying for decades. The real healing has just begun.
You lost almost 150 pounds. Can you tell the difference?
I can. I definitely can do a lot more for sure. So yeah, I can definitely tell.
After a full year of grueling work, therapy, and fighting every single day, Joe steps on the scale one last time. You can feel the tension in the room, and the number comes up. 652 pounds. He did it. Dr. Now finally approves him for surgery, and the sheer, unadulterated joy is overwhelming. His mother just breaks down in tears of relief. This isn't a magic trick. This is the result of an incredible battle against addiction and depression. He has truly, unequivocally earned this chance at a new life. What an absolutely triumphant moment.
If I could lose 150 pounds to get the surgery, then I know I can lose 450 pounds with the surgery.
It's looking good.
Yeah, it really is. Wow.
Welcome to the first day of the rest of his life. Post-surgery, Joe is already a new man. He's up, he's moving, and for the first time, there is a genuine light in his eyes. The change is absolutely staggering. He acknowledges the year of hell he went through, but more importantly, he knows he's learned how to deal with his emotions without turning to food. He's not just lighter physically, he's lighter emotionally. This isn't the end of his journey, but it is a profoundly hopeful new beginning. He didn't just lose weight, he battled his demons, faced his trauma, and finally chose to live.
Every day it gets harder to move, harder to stand, harder to walk, and harder to breathe. So it takes just about everything in me to finally convince myself to get up, because I know how bad it's going to be.
Justin's reality has collapsed into a nightmare of flesh and despair, where every breath and movement becomes a battle he rarely wins. Simply lifting himself in bed is an act of agony, while walking is impossible without pain. When he looks into the mirror, he doesn't see a person anymore. He sees a mistake, someone who allowed himself to become one of the heaviest men alive. The anguish in his eyes tells the entire story. This isn't living, it's existing inside a self-imposed prison cell built of his own body, with no key to escape, only desperation.
And when they stopped her prescription, she eventually started going to harder stuff like heroin. But as a child, all I knew was that my mom started to become unreliable, and she would even just vanish for periods of time.
His backstory reveals the tragic path that led him here. Justin's childhood was fractured by his mother's descent into heroin addiction, leaving him alone and neglected when he needed her most. After an accident, she disappeared emotionally, sometimes physically. When his father remarried, the situation didn't improve. It worsened. In his new household, Justin was treated like an outsider, stripped of affection, and constantly reminded he didn't belong. That rejection carved scars into his identity. Food became the only reliable comfort, the one constant in a chaotic, uncertain life. Every pound now represents years of loneliness and emotional abandonment.
I look forward to her visits, just like I did when I was young. Because when she's here, I feel loved and wanted, just like I did then. And our routine is the same as it's always been, so food is a big part of our time together.
When his mother reappears in his life, her attempts at love manifest in the most destructive way imaginable. Instead of encouragement, she serves him enormous plates of waffles and sausage, comforting foods that are killing him. She believes she's nurturing, but in reality, every bite adds another link to the chains keeping him trapped. Her affection disguises sabotage, smothering him in food rather than support. This is codependency at its most tragic. She cannot see the truth, and neither can he, that her version of love isn't saving him. It's sentencing him to die under the weight of her devotion.
Because right now you're 27. If you keep this up and the way you're going, you're not going to make it to 30. Okay? So you need to work on that and make the changes right now. But what I need to see from you before we do anything else.
Then arrives Doctor. now delivering brutal honesty like a lightning strike. Justin weighs nearly 700 pounds, but doctor now doesn't coddle him. He immediately identifies the depression fueling his eating and his mother's destructive enabling. His words slice through denial. If you continue on this path, you won't live to see 30. It's harsh, but it's the truth Justin needs to hear. For the first time, someone doesn't offer him food or pity, but a demand for change. Doctor now sets the goal: lose 10 pounds in 2 months. It's a wake-up call delivered without compromise.
This is a real good time for her to be a solid presence in my life. So right now, I'm feeling pretty good. Hey, Mom. How are you? How was your trip?
All right.
The first devastating stumble comes when Justin's mother makes a phone call that shatters his plan. She tells him she cannot move to Houston, and instantly his hope crumbles. You see the devastation in his face, the raw scars of abandonment ripping open once again. He is left with a choice. Does he let the betrayal consume him and retreat into the familiar comfort of food, or does he stand on his own for the first time? This moment is pivotal, the deciding point where he either sinks into despair or rises above. His survival depends entirely on this choice.
She had some issues with drugs, and she'd just sort of drop off the face of the earth for months or years.
Do you remember having feelings about your mom being so inconsistent?
The emotional breakthrough arrives in therapy. Justin doesn't hide behind excuses or drown his feelings in pizza. He finally speaks with honesty. He shares how his stepmother treated him as a burden, how he clung to his addicted mother despite her flaws simply because she believed him. These aren't rehearsed tears, but genuine confessions from years of bottled trauma. For the first time, he faces the pain directly without smothering it under food. This isn't just progress, it's a transformation. It's the moment Justin proves he's willing to confront his demons rather than eat them away in silence.
I really did want for us to have that chance to build a relationship that we never had the opportunity for. And when things didn't happen,
Justin flies all the way back home, sits down with his mother, and delivers the confrontation a lifetime in the making. When she claims she would never leave him, he looks her dead in the eye and says, "But that's what you do. That's what you've always done." He's not shouting, but his words are carrying the weight of decades of disappointment. He is taking back his power, demanding stability and accountability. This isn't a plea for sympathy. It's the declaration of a man who is finally refusing to be a victim of his past. He is applying tough love to his own life, and it is incredible to watch.
And you have lost 292 pounds from day one I saw you.
yeah.
So that's almost loss of 200 pounds in a year. That's excellent. You're doing great.
The moment of triumph finally arrives when Justin steps on the scale and the number reads 395 pounds. He has lost an astonishing 292 pounds, almost half his body. The victory radiates in Dr. Now's proud expression as he calls Justin's progress excellent and approves him for skin removal surgery. This isn't just about the numbers. It's about respect, dignity, and self-worth. Justin fought for every single pound, confronting his demons head-on. The surgery symbolizes more than a medical procedure. It's the ultimate prize, proof that he has taken control of his life and refused to surrender to despair.
I was in a really bad spot, mentally and physically. The design that I'm getting has a phoenix and the state of Texas in it. And the phoenix is a pretty common symbol for rebirth and starting your life over.
The finale is a moment of healing and renewal. Justin sits alongside his father, the man who stood strong when others failed him, and together they commemorate the journey with tattoos of a phoenix rising above Texas. The phoenix represents rebirth, survival, and transformation, a fitting symbol for Justin's new beginning. This is not about food anymore. It's about trust restored, trauma faced, and the rebuilding of a future. A year ago, he was broken and hopeless. Now, he has risen from the ashes, no longer defined by pain, but by strength. Justin is finally free to soar.
I can't be the reason you lose weight or the reason you gain weight, period.
I'll make this work, I promise.
Zellen's existence is a nightmare wrapped in flesh. Nearly 600 pounds, she admits her days aren't living but a dull cycle of surviving. She eats, stares at the television, then drifts into sleep, repeating endlessly. Standing is torture. Her joints scream, her body buckles, and the pain overwhelms her. You can see the exhaustion etched across her face. This isn't a life of joy or movement, but one defined by suffering. She is imprisoned in her own frame, suffocating beneath the weight she carries, crying silently for escape from the relentless agony that dictates her every waking moment.
My mother wouldn't allow me to lick envelopes or postage stamps because she thought they had calories. Being fat for my mother, it just wasn't an option.
The roots of her despair stretch back to childhood, a place where her first critic was her own mother. Instead of nurturing, she was shamed. Her mother constantly told her that fat kids couldn't wear nice clothes and even refused to let her lick envelopes or stamps, convinced the glue would make her gain weight. The absurdity of this belief is stunning, but the damage was very real. From a young age, food became a twisted force, both enemy and comfort. Her mother's warped obsessions planted seeds of dysfunction that grew into the very struggle consuming her today.
When I first met Zellen, it was her size that attracted me to her. But now she's gotten so big, it's impossible for us to do anything, and I guess you just gotta be careful what you wish for.
Then there's Gareth, her husband, who isn't just enabling, he's ruling over a kingdom of codependence. He admits openly that he was attracted to her because of her size. He calls her big and comfy, soft and squishy, as though she's furniture rather than a human being. Her health, pain, and suffering don't matter. What matters is that she stays big enough to feed his preference. It's an outrageously selfish perspective. His fear isn't about losing his wife, it's about losing the idealized queen of large women. His desires threaten to leave their daughter without a healthy, living mother.
Charlie, you need to get ready by losing some weight on your own first.
When Dr. Now enters, the air changes immediately. Zellen arrives believing surgery will magically erase her sugar addiction, but Dr. Now doesn't let the fantasy last long. He bluntly tells her surgery is not a cure, it's only a tool. The real battle lies in her mind, in breaking free from the destructive relationship she has built with food. He sees through the excuses, piercing right to the heart of the matter. Unless she commits to real, lasting psychological change, the surgery will not save her. His honesty is ruthless but necessary, a voice of clarity in her chaos.
You have to cut the calorie count down, but the key issue with it will be that you only eat 2 or 3 times a day.
Here it is, the tough love turning point. Dr. Now doesn't just give advice, he lays down the law with an ultimatum that is both harsh and absolutely necessary. He tells Zellen in no uncertain terms that he needs to see her lose 20 to 30 pounds on her own before he'll even consider her for surgery. This isn't a suggestion, it's a command. He's testing her. He needs to know if she has the discipline and the will to live before he'll risk putting her under the knife. For Zellen, this is the first real challenge that forces her to prove she's ready to fight for her own life.
But I don't think he actually thought I was going to go through with it.
Pajamas? He says, I married you 10 years ago and you were a happy fat girl, and I was happy to marry a happy fat girl.
This, right here, is the moment everything changes. This is a true, soul-bearing breakthrough. Zellen finally confronts the horrifying truth. Her husband's love is conditional on her being morbidly obese. He told her if he knew he was marrying an unhappy fat girl, he might not have done it. The realization that big can't be beautiful when it means her daughter could grow up without a mother finally hits her like a ton of bricks. The tears are real this time, not for attention, but from genuine grief over a marriage that requires her to be sick. She's finally choosing herself and her child over his desires.
Nervous that Gareth is going to flip out when he finds out. But I have to do this for me.
So you had gastric bypass, right?
Yes.
This is what we love to see. Instead of just sitting around, Zellen takes a massive leap and hires a personal trainer. Let's be real, she's probably the largest person this trainer has ever worked with. But look at her go. She's pushing, she's sweating, and she's putting in the work. This is the ultimate proof of her new mindset. She's not only dieting, she's building a new life from the ground up, one agonizing lunge at a time. The surgery isn't some magic pill. It's a tool she has now earned the right to use through sheer grit and determination.
You haven't lost any weight. How many times are you eating?
3, sometimes 2 times a day. No snacking.
Look what we have here. After months of effort, Zellen hits a massive wall. She steps on the scale at Dr. Now's office, and nothing. She hasn't lost any weight, not a single pound. And what's the culprit? Her little secret habit, Diet Coke. She tries to downplay it, saying it's just an occasional treat. But Dr. Now isn't buying a word of it. This is the harsh slap of reality showing that addiction is a powerful beast. You can't cheat the system. The question now is whether this embarrassing failure will be the final wake-up call she needs, or just another excuse to fail.
They fit. In like 7 years since I've worn a pair of jeans. Get moving, babes, please.
I'm really excited to go riding horses with my mom.
And here it is, the perfect ending, a hopeful, beautiful new beginning. A year ago, she could only watch her daughter play from behind a fence. Now, she's not just at the park, she's putting on jeans for the first time in 7 years and getting on a horse. A horse. This is the ultimate symbol of her freedom. It was never just about the number on the scale, it was about reclaiming a life that was stolen by trauma, pain, and a toxic relationship. The person she was is gone. In her place is a strong, active mother creating new memories.